Well, hello everyone, and hello ladies. My name's Katie, and welcome to the January tour of our kitchen garden. Out of the way then, girls. You'll have to just try and ignore the chickens as best as you can. I've been letting them out into the main kitchen garden area for the past few days now, just because the orchard is looking such a mess where they've been scratching around and everything. It looks so bare and awful, so we thought we would give the orchard a bit of a rest and let them out into the main kitchen garden so they can do a bit of foraging and things. There's not really anything growing, so they can't cause any damage, so yeah, they can just have a bit of fun scratching around looking for worms and things. But yeah, they're highly entertaining, really entertaining. It's quite hard actually when you are trying to dig and they're like right there. But no, they're no problem, no problem. I will show you the orchard later on anyway. But what I thought I would do is start with the four main vegetable beds. Yeah, like I said, not much is growing, so there's not going to be much to show you. But what I will do is I will go through what we have planned to grow next year, roughly. I was thinking of doing like a proper planning video, but we'll see. I haven't even ordered the seeds yet, so we'll see. We'll see. So last year, this was the brassica bed. As you can tell, it's still got the Brussels sprouts there. So we had 2 rows of Brussels sprouts, and they are variety Brendan. We've still got loads left, so I think in hindsight we're just going to grow 1 row next year of sprouts. We have made quite a few changes, I suppose, because we're not used to growing on this scale. Like last year was quite experimental in terms of knowing how much to grow. We grew a lot of stuff which we had way too much of, so yeah, we've been trying to decide what to do this year, you know, scale down a little bit or grow more of other things, bits and bobs like that. Do you know, I said they don't cause any damage, but they are trying to eat the kale. Anyway, we've just got the 2 rows of sprouts left in here and the row of kale. And the kale, I grew half of the Nero di Toscana and then half of the curly. Bloody chickens. Yeah, the kale had a bit of a rough start, so we didn't have enough netting to cover the kale. It's still unprotected actually at the moment because obviously the chickens are getting it. But at the beginning, it was practically destroyed by the birds. But it came back really, really well, and it's doing fine apart from the chickens eating a few bits. And there's a couple of swede left as well, but that's it. That's all that's left in this bed. We have got 7 rhubarb here, which are showing signs of life, which is very exciting. This bed has been completely prepared. There's just a little patch of weeds here which needs to be sorted, but obviously once the sprouts are sort of gone, I can just blitz that area and then that's ready. I do need to order some more netting for the brassicas actually, because this is netting from the old allotment, so it's not made to measure here. So yeah, we're going to measure how much we need and order some more netting. So yeah, this was the brassica bed last year. This year it's going to be the potato bed. So yeah, just be full of potatoes. We're going to have 2 rows of salad and then 8 rows of main crop potatoes in here. I don't know if you can see. I mean, I might as well talk about the other bed. There's nothing in there. So yeah, that was the potato bed last year. It's our worst bed for couch grass. It's terrible. Like, I mean, obviously when the potatoes were growing, we weren't weeding them, we were just earthing them up, which obviously didn't help. So we need to try and get as much of the couch grass out of there as possible. And hopefully this year we'll be able to keep on top of it a bit more, because that's going to be, I suppose, the root bed. We're going to have the carrots, parsnip, shallots, onions, leeks, Swiss chard, a couple of rows of flowers I'm going to squeeze in there. And then we're also trying a few new things in that bed as well, which I'm really excited about. So we're going to try some celery, some celeriac, and some fennel. Never grown any of them before. Never really tasted fennel and never tasted celeriac before. So that'll be interesting. With those two, we're just gonna sow, what's that then? 3 metre, just 1 3 metre row of each. Like I said, we've never tasted them before. We don't know if we're going to like them, so it's just going to be a bit of an experiment. But with the celery, we're growing 4 rows at 3 metres each. So yeah, quite a lot of celery. Again, never grown it before, always wanted to. We add celery to quite a lot of our like stews and casseroles and things. So I feel like it will be a really good staple crop to grow if we can get it right. So yeah, bit of an experiment, but really, really looking forward to that. And that's that bed, basically. That's that bed. Last year we grew way too many rows of carrots. I think we grew 6 rows at 6 metres, which is a lot of carrots. A lot of carrots. There's still loads in the ground at the moment, actually, but they're starting to be eaten. And yeah, then they're not doing so well. So we definitely grew too many carrots. And also what I need to work on for next year is, what's the word for it? You know, like when you stagger your sowings, we really need to work harder on that. There's a word for it, I can't think of it, it's completely gone out of my brain. Successional sowing, that's the one. I need to work harder on that, especially with the things like the carrots. Because yeah, obviously when you get that many all at once, you can't eat them all. So yeah, I need to work harder on sowing them successionally so that we get crops, different periods of the year. The only other thing in that bed, in both of the front beds actually, is the lavender hedge, which I will show you later on, because we're probably going to be going down that end later on anyway. But let's talk about the next 2 beds now. Yeah, let's talk about them. So last year this was the bean bed, and it did, do you know what, it did really well for us. I don't think there's much we would change about the bean bed. The only thing that we were going to change is the spacing between the peas, and we didn't give ourselves enough space to really get in between the rows, so it was quite hard to pick the peas. But we had 5 rows of the peas, which was amazing. Again, we were quite late picking some of them, but that was just down to time management and things. So the peas did really well. I had 2 wigwams with Bolotti beans on, which did really well. I've got them stored in jars in the pantry actually, so they're going to last us quite a long time. Had 3 courgettes, which again was probably a little bit too many courgettes, and we were going to narrow it down this year, but then I thought, well, actually, the chickens loved the courgettes. When they grew too big, I think they're called marrows then, aren't they? But when they grew a bit too big, I gave them to the chickens and they loved them. So I just thought, I'm just going to grow 3 again, and at least the chickens will be happy. And also I'd quite like to learn how to store and preserve food more in the future. So yeah, it'd be quite interesting to play around with that a little bit. What else did we have? Oh, we had 2 rows of runner beans, which again was fine. That was plenty for us. And we had 2 rows of broad beans, which again was absolutely fine. Just quickly mention, each vegetable bed is 6 metres wide by 9 metres. So yeah, most of our rows are 6 metres long. Hey girls, what you looking for? Some wormies. I forgot to say, there's asparagus on this end, which planted last year, so obviously it's going to be 3 or 4 years until we can get a crop from there. I have cut all the foliage back, and I will try and mulch it. I will try and mulch it in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, really excited about the asparagus. I love asparagus. And then the only thing growing in here at the moment is the garlic on the far end, which is growing really, really well. It's doing really well. Again, I think I've got half one variety, so this half is pink Germador up to here. Hey Molly, how you doing? And then we've got white Casablanca on this half. But yeah, I mean, it's growing fine. I'm praying to the garlic gods that we get a decent crop. I've only ever tried to grow garlic once before, and this was probably like 7 years ago. It failed miserably. And back then I was like, I'm never growing it again, never. But I love garlic so much, and the family really like garlic, so I thought it was worth another try, because you never know, do you? I mean, every year's different. I mean, especially with the weather. I know it needs a good frost, so hopefully, I mean, it tends to dip down a bit, doesn't it, in temperature in February and March. I mean, we've been getting snow in March quite a lot the past couple of years, so yeah, please, garlic gods, give me some garlic. But yeah, so this bed at the moment we're just working through digging it. There are nettles in here which I really want to get rid of. I think I mentioned in the last video about wanting to go no dig, and I'm trying to talk my dad around to the idea, but I think the problem with us, because we churned this area up with the digger and things, we've got quite a lot of tough perennial weeds which we really want to get rid of. And I know you can cover you know, and leave for like 2 or 3 years, but I think what's going to work best for us is digging it over, trying to get rid of those weeds, and then hopefully go no dig next year, once we've got those tougher weeds under control. I mean, the whole idea is to really weed throughout the whole year, isn't it? Stay on top of it. And it's one of those things that we say every year, you know, through the summer, we'll stay on top of the weeds, we'll do a bit of hoeing like every morning and blah, blah, blah. And of course, you don't. And the weeds grow so quickly that you know, you just can't keep on top of it. But I think we're really going to try this year, really going to try. So yeah, we're just digging. Oh, sorry, Molly, did I step on you, girl? Sorry, girl. Yeah, that's about it for this bed. So next year, this will be the brassicas. This will be the brassicas, and we're going to have, where are we? 1 row of sprouts, 1 row of cauliflower, 2 rows of broccoli, 2 rows of cabbage, 1 row of kale, which I might do like we did over there, half the Nero di Toscana and half curly, 1 row of swede. Only thing we need to do is order the netting, like I say, to actually fit the cage so we can protect that kale. And then, let me check I'm not stepping on a chicken. Then we're going to have the block of sweet corn, 5 by 5 block of sweet corn, which we grew last year. And it was a disaster, but that was all down to us because we didn't harvest them. Time ran away with us, and we were too late. And by the time we went to harvest them, it was just, the crop was ruined, and we were so gutted, because I mean, it was all our fault if we had just harvested them in time. But yeah, we just got too busy and we didn't do it in time. So we're not going to make that mistake again. So the sweet corn's going to go there. There's going to be 2 wigwams with the climbing pumpkins up them. Then there's going to be Crown Prince squash and butternut squash just trailing everywhere. Again, the pumpkins did, the squash did okay with us last year. The butternut squash didn't, like we only got 1 decent sized butternut squash, but the Crown Prince was really good. I actually used the last one yesterday to make some soup with we've got a lot of soup in the freezer. I love squash soup, so it's nice. Crown Prince is one of my favourite squashes anyway. And then the little climbing pumpkins. I usually grow munchkin pumpkins, if you can remember. Could not find the seed anywhere, so I settled for Jack B. Little, which were basically the same. They've all gone. We've eaten them all because they're just delicious, like roasted whole. If you like, just cut the top off, scoop out the inside, put cream and kale and chorizo in there, and bake for 45 minutes. It's just so delicious. So yeah, they've all gone, but yeah, they grew really well. The bean bed was the best bed for us, but the Crown Prince, yeah, was just prolific last year. So yeah, this will be the brassicas and the random bits. And then the bed at the far end, we basically completely dug over, apart from where the carrots and the parsnips are still in the ground. We grew, like I said, we grew 6 rows of carrots last year, which was way too many. We just need to work on that successional sowing. We also grew 2 rows of parsnips, which again was too much. I think we're just going to grow 1 row next year. We just don't eat parsnip as much as we should, I suppose. But right, so yeah, that bed was the root bed with the onions and everything in. Again, the onions did really well, but we only had 1 row of red, and was it 2 or 3 rows of white? But I think we're gonna grow an extra row of red this year because I really like red onion. We didn't grow any leeks last year. I don't know why. So yeah, we're gonna make room for them this year. What else was growing there? Oh, the Swiss chard. Three rows of Swiss chard. I mean, you all know I like Swiss chard. And the chickens love Swiss chard, so 3 rows was perfect. Perfect. Look at them having fun. So yeah, the roots are going in that bed this year, and that's going to be the bean bed. In there we're going to have basically exactly the same as what we did. So there'll be 2 rows of broad beans, 5 rows of peas with that extra spacing, so we can actually get to them and harvest them. 2 rows of runner beans, 3 courgettes, and then the 2 wigwams with the Belotti bean lump. Exactly the same, because it worked so well for us. And then the calendula will go along this edge, because you've got to have a row of calendula. Like, I can't not grow calendula. I would quite like to actually grow a row of chamomile as well for chamomile tea. Where could I squeeze that? Oh, because the garlic's there. See, that would have been quite nice, this row, to have the chamomile and then the calendula. Oh well, the garlic's there, so I'm sure I'll squeeze it in somewhere. But yeah, that's the 4 main vegetable beds. I think. Oh, actually, I will just mention, because you're probably wondering what this is. It's not some weird, like, mole or tremor or something. We had someone lay some water pipe and electric cable down. So it runs, obviously, from the workshop house area. Runs all the way down, and then it goes down towards where the shed is. And so there's going to be, one day, there's going to be a tap there, and obviously electric for the potting shed and the greenhouse. But that's what that is. That's why it looks like such a mess. We aren't being invaded by tremors. Right, let's go down to the polytunnel, and I will show you what's growing inside of there. Come on, girls, let's go. I'm not allowed in here. You will destroy the lettuce. So welcome to the polytunnel. I was very dubious about getting a polytunnel. I was I was very pro getting a greenhouse and just doing all the growing in there. like I feel like I don't know anything about growing in a polytunnel, so I know it's going to be a huge learning curve. And I mean, when did we put this up? August, September time, I think we put this up. So yeah, we haven't really had, much time to actually growing it. But yeah, I quite like it. But like I say, I still feel like there's a lot to learn. Like it's a completely new world growing inside a polytunnel than it is outside. Like I think I just need to get used to the timing, and the different seasons you're growing inside the polytunnel. It's going to take a little while, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's only been up for 5 months. It's our first winter, so yeah, we've got a lot to learn, a lot to learn. But we have grown some radishes in here. I'm actually trying to sow some more actually. We've got some carrots which are growing. We've also sown some more carrots. There's some lettuce left over and some rockets. We've also got some cabbage here. What variety are they? Oh, Primo cabbage, which they're doing fine. I mean, it's a little bit slow growing, but it's fine. And then we've got some broad beans here. Oh, Super Aqua Dulce, of course they are. They're the variety which we always grow. So there's 4 double rows here of the broad beans, which look super healthy. And what we've also done is we put in some early salad potatoes here. International kidney potatoes, which are the Jersey Royal ones. That's a complete experiment. Like I say, this is all completely new to us. It's probably a little bit too early to put your potatoes in the polytunnel, but we just thought we would try it because we're new to this, and yeah, we don't really know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing, but it's all worth a try. Obviously, if we do get some frosts, we'll cover them and we'll protect them. There's nothing else in this bed. There's just some seeds which I've sown, and some minnow daffodils which I've popped in some containers, and then we've just got our little potting on area, and that's the polytunnel. Let's head on out and I will show you the fruit bed. The fruit bed is nestled down next to the polytunnel, and it's been a bit of a disaster actually. So when I created this bed, we hired like a turf cutter, and we took up all the turf, planted out the fruit bushes and left it, and it was a complete mess, absolute mess. And at the weekend I was going to try and dig it over, get rid of the weeds, but it was such hard work, so I thought what I'm going to do is just experiment a bit and cover it. So I've covered it with this black plastic which we just had hanging around in the workshop, and hopefully that's going to suppress the weeds. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping anyway. So yeah, I've just cut the holes in for the fruit bushes to grow through, and then we've got the 2 rows of raspberry canes there. I have ordered some more pegs because I haven't really pegged it down very well. I'm going to peg the plastic down a bit better, and yeah, like I say, just leave it, and hopefully that will just kill off all the weeds for me. But we have got in here, there's 4 blackcurrants. I say there's 2 gooseberries. One of them died, so I need to replace one, but there's 2 gooseberries here, and then the 2 rows of raspberry canes at the back. And the plan for this really is to maybe put like a little wooden edge around, build a cage so we can net it, and then maybe just put some bark or wood chip down and just create a nice little fruit cage here. These damn chickens get everywhere. They're having fun anyway. But that's the fruit bed. Bit of a mess, bit of a work in progress, but hopefully one day it will provide lots of tasty fruit. Work in progress, and I think it's going to be a work in progress for quite a long time. I won't go through it too much because I've probably gone through it quite a lot in the previous videos where I go on about the whole layout. But basically, this is where we're hoping to have a big greenhouse, a big potting shed. That's obviously not the potting shed, not the forever potting shed, that's just the temporary shed, the one which we take on the garden shows with us. And there's going to be a big shed there, paving, there'll be a little raised bed here, a walkway in line with the greenhouse door, another small raised bed here, and then a raised bed over by the potting shed as well, which will be full of cut flowers. But like I say, I think it's going to take a long time until this area is ready. What we were trying to focus on first was obviously the vegetable beds and the polytunnel and things, and actually growing the food. Like, that was the most important thing for us. This is all like structural, and I know like the potting shed and the greenhouse is very important, but it's obviously not as important as eating. So yeah, I think it's going to take a little while, but yeah, the dream and the plan is there. The plan for the 2 small raised beds which are going to go here was going to be strawberries, and then maybe have like a big archway joining the 2 with sweet peas growing up them. And like I say, the whole idea for that then is to have the walkway here and a little walkway in between the raised beds up to like the greenhouse door. We don't need the walkway there because there's going to be walkways all the way around, but I just thought it would be a nice little feature and it'll look nice as well. It reminded me a little bit of my old allotment as well, because I used to have that archway going in up to the potting shed as well. I just thought it would look quite nice. And then yeah, where the round tub is, going to plant that up with flowers at some point. But like I say, this will all be paved, so there'll be a nice little like seating area there as well. And yeah, actually I might as well walk to show you. I don't know if you can still see me actually. The greenhouse is going to go from here all the way to here. So quite a big greenhouse. We were going to put a door on this end so we can go from the greenhouse then over to the potting shed, which will be going from here, if you can still see me, to here, with the door here, so it's sort of, you know, facing this nice little courtyard area, with a cut flower bed there and some pots and things. And you following me, girls? I haven't got any food. I haven't got anything. So this is the orchard, and this is where the chickens live, and where they have pretty much ruined the orchard. My dad is not impressed at all. So you can probably see their run down there. They have a chicken run and a chicken coop. But the whole idea with the chickens was to let them free range in the orchard, which is why we have fenced it off from the main allotment patch, so they've got this room to roam in. I wasn't quite expecting them to be this messy, and if I had known before that you could get chickens that weren't messy, like the Orpingtons, I would have just got them. Because it's looking so, and I'm not, like, I know it's January, but it's just looking so bare. I mean, the grass in the allotment patch is nice and green, whereas here it's not very nice. But what we did actually do is we used the turf cutter in this area, and we took the turf off and we sowed some wildflower seed. I think it was 80% grass and then 20% flower seed, because we wanted to create a sort of traditional meadow in here. I'm not sure if the chickens have now ruined that by scratching everything. I mean, only time will tell. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. they've done the damage now, so there's no going back. Like I say, we're just going to have to wait to see what what it turns out like, basically. But there are 8, so there's 8 trees in here. We have the one apple tree which was already here, which we don't know the variety, needs a good bit of pruning actually. And then we have planted some more. There's also a plum there which looks a bit sorry for itself. That was already here, but some storm damage made one of the branches break off, which was devastating. So yeah, we've got that apple tree. Oh no, there's a Bramley apple tree down there as well. Yeah, there's a Bramley apple tree with a ladder leaning against it. So there were 3 trees here already, and then we planted 5 more. So we've got an apple tree here, which is called Discovery. Then we've got that one, Katie, over there. This is a pear, which is Concord. Then there's another apple here, Ellison's Orange, and then I think this one here is a cider apple. Oh yeah, Ellis Bitter, so that's a cider one. And so yeah, there's 8 fruit trees in here altogether. All right, Molly? 8 fruit trees altogether. Also got the beehives, which are still empty. I still have yet to go on a beekeeping course. Yeah, I still haven't sorted that out. And then, like I say, the chicken's house is down there. If you can just see it, that's where they live. I put a tarpaulin on top because, like I say, the weather the past couple of months has just been horrendous, so I just wanted to protect them a little bit. But yeah, that's where they live. I would say that they are very happy. I mean, they have free run of the orchard and now they have free run of the allotment, so I mean, happy chickens, happy. But that's about it. That's about it for this tour. Like I said, there's nothing growing. I've planned out the 4 beds of what we're actually growing. I just need to order the seeds now. So yeah, maybe I will sit down and do like a little bit of a planning video with you just to share what we're growing, what varieties and things. But yeah, gosh, it's getting chilly now. It's getting quite chilly. So I'm going to head inside. But I really hope you enjoyed that tour. I will try and do one every month just to keep you updated. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the February tour.